is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
With so much financial uncertainty, are you wondering if retirement savings will last? Markets ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Hi, I'm Edward Jones, advisor Ryan Bach. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, let's work together to help you ensure you're prepared for the journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek. It's a new beginning. Stop by our office at 8380 Old Cheney Road, Lincoln, Nebraska. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
93.7 The Ticket Sports News go now.
This is Nick Wyman with your sports update. Nebraska women's basketball traveled to Ann Arbor to battle number 8 Michigan tonight. The Cornhuskers dropped the game to the Wolverines by a score of 88-76. Britt Prince and Amaya Hargrove led the Cornhuskers offense with 16 points each in the loss to Michigan. Nebraska falls to 16-7 overall on the 2025-2026 season and returns home on Saturday, February 7th, as the Cornhuskers host 22 Maryland with tip-off set for 1 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. For the second straight year, Nebraska volleyball will play a match at Pinnacle Bank Arena. The Huskers, coming off an Elite Eight run before losing to eventual national champion Texas A&M, will host Creighton at Pinnacle Bank Arena this fall. Nebraska head coach Danny Busman-Kelly announced the news during an interview on Wednesday. The date and time for this match between the Cornhuskers and the Blue Jays at Pinnacle Bank Arena will be announced at a later date. With the NBA trade deadline approaching, the Dallas Mavericks have agreed to trade 10-time All-Star Anthony Davis to the Washington Wizards in an 8-player blockbuster trade. The Mavericks will send Davis and guards Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum to the Wizards for Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley III, along with 2 first-round picks and 3 second-rounders. And for all the latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here at 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You've got used to one segment of Good Takes in the morning, but now there's a full show of Good Takes at night. Welcome into Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. Raff's Good Take on Sports, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. You guys are always welcome to join in via the Starter Heyman text line as well as the streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, Channel 961 if you got Allo cable. Chris Raff, how's it going on Tuesday?
It's going pretty good. It's been a really good Tuesday.
Wednesday, excuse me.
Well, Tuesday was good too. No, wow, you tricked me there. I guess it is Wednesday. This week is just flying by. Big news, possible leaked out again about the NFL Hall of Fame today. Sounds like Mr. Roger the Dodger Craig will be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame finally. So tomorrow night at the NFL Honors Awards banquet, they probably should make that announcement that Roger Craig will be joining the Hall of Fame. So that was cool to hear. I'm hoping that leak was correct. Watch them come out and all the leaks were wrong. And Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft get into the Hall of Fame and Roger Craig does not. But I'm thinking that the leak was pretty legitimate. So I'm hoping that Roger Craig will hear his name called to be selected into the NFL Hall of Fame because, man, it's been a long run. But however, I made a deal a long time ago with a buddy of mine, Mr. Brad Burlington, and I told him, I said, if you go to John Elway's induction ceremony with me, I will go to Roger Craig's induction ceremony with you. And 21 years later, that will come to fruition August 8th, I believe. So Canton bound, here I come.
Yeah, it sounds like everything's pointing that he will be inducted, unless that leak, which multiple people have reported on, it seems pretty legit. So not official, but it looks pretty darn good for his chances that Roger Craig will officially be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. Rightfully so. I know this isn't on your notes, but this one like kind of stuck out to me. It kind of surprised me a little bit. I know people get tired of talking about Dylan Raiola, but this one's just interesting. So Dayton Raiola commits to Oregon, but not as a quarterback, transitioning to tight end. This is where I don't want to pick on Dayton, but this is where the package deals make no sense to me. Like I don't understand how that's beneficial to him at all. You're some great tight ends are already transferring out of Oregon because they see their play time going out the window. That's a lot of transition he'd have to do with his body, and he's not necessarily a big guy already. I don't know. I don't understand why you'd go with a package deal with that. Wouldn't it make more sense for him to just go be himself somewhere else and get the real time? You can even go JUCO for 2 years and then play in the college football for like 6 years and have an 8-year career. But I don't know. That one's just stuck out to me as I don't know if it's always great to have the package deal with family when it seems that it's going to really hurt his chances. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it works out great. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I made a pact a long time ago. I could no longer talk about Dylan Raiola on the show. So we're talking about Dayton. So I just want to clarify for the listeners out there that when I made that pact about no Dylan talk, I let it go. Dayton, like you talked about, I think the big thing for that is going to be just the transformation to play tight end. I mean, he has been a quarterback at Buford, Georgia. You know, that was his position. Playing quarterback, that's what he's grown up playing, always following in the footsteps of a guy to be not named in this show anymore. So that transition, you know, to get to bring that contact, you know, blocking, catching passes, like, yeah, you can go out and, you know, run routes on air all day long and have a pretty good set of hands and catch everything thrown to you. But how is that going to change when you're running over the middle and you got a free safety, strong safety, you know, or, you know, a linebacker, you know, locked into you coming across the middle. So it's going to be a huge transition for him to make. And it'd be interesting to know too, if this is a forever move or if there's, you know, if he still harbors, you know, like go back to like Eric Crouch, you know, he was playing receiver in the NFL when he first got drafted, but he still harbored that light to play quarterback. So is that light totally extinguished for him to play quarterback and he's fully committed to play tight end? That would be interesting for me to know. But yeah, he definitely is going to have his work cut out for him, especially, you know, going to Oregon, because you'd have to assume that there's probably a couple 4-star, probably a 5-star tight end that's already in that room already, just to the way that they've recruited and the way they've picked up players over the last years. So it'll be interesting to see how that transpires. It would not surprise me either too, to, you know, see him go there for a year and, you know, possibly do that the old portal thing. We see a lot of portal people. So it would not surprise me one bit this probably will not be his last stop. I could be wrong on that, but I would think the way things trend in today's college football, it would not surprise me one bit him go there maybe for a year and then decide he still has that bug to play quarterback and then maybe go, you know, to like maybe a Division II or, you know, a lower, you know, like a mat. Like it surprises me a lot that he couldn't have went. I'd like to see what his schools were that were still in contact with him to play quarterback and what went into that decision to go to Oregon to play tight end, because you have to think that he had a pretty successful season at Buford this past season, to think that it just totally went dry with people wanting him to play quarterback. So it'll be an interesting couple years, to see how that all progresses with him, because the big thing for him is he's going to have to 100% commit to playing tight end. It can't be, well, I still want to play quarterback, but I'm going to play tight end for the time being type thing. So that'll probably be his biggest, I would think that would probably be his biggest thing that he's going to have to deal with, because it's hard to let go when you played quarterback. It's tough to let go of, that position.
Yeah. And, it's not even like the Heinrich Harburg going from tight end to quarterback back to like he had the body for that tight end already. That's the part where it's going to be really curious how he develops into that. And to your point, this is not just Dayton, but with a lot of players, like sometimes those smaller schools are okay, especially in today's era of college football. Like you can transfer out of there. And a lot of times it's really easy to put up really good stats at MAC or in the Mountain West or, a different conference that's maybe not as talented, and then get to the Power Four. And then you'll also get a little bit of stock and a little bit of money with it, because there's some investment and some hope that you can keep building up, as opposed to, trying to make it work at a big school when you're going to have good tight ends in the room. And even if you get to your senior year and you feel like you've waited out the competition, well, if you're not good enough, they'll just bring in some transfers and you still won't see the field.
And the transition is huge. Like you brought up Heinrich Harburg. I mean, I thought Heinrich Harburg, going to tight end, by the body shape of it, the speed, you're thinking to yourself, okay, if he switches over to tight end, we possibly got a diamond in the rough there. But there were a few bright spots that he had this past year, but looking back on it, that's one where you're like, man, if we could have had him for a couple years playing tight end to see what that third year would have been, or what next year would have been, getting used to playing that position. It's just not one of those things where you can be like, well, he's 6'3", 225 pounds. We'll just switch him to tight end and everything's going to be good. It's like, it's going back again. You've got to get used to playing the position. I bet if you asked Heinrich Harburg, it would not surprise me to see like a team take a flyer on him in the NFL draft to play tight end. And it would not surprise me to see him, make great progressions in that position, just having more experience, because that's the big thing is that experience factor in it all. Because I was one of the ones this year saying, man, Heinrich Harburg and like a Tyson Hill position type player could be dangerous. And I think that might be something that you like. It would not surprise me one bit if the Broncos took a flyer out on Heinrich Harburg in this next draft, just for the fact of what he brings, that Tyson Hill type, package. So we'll see what happens. And with Dayton, like I said, I just think his biggest thing right now is just going to be that full commitment to playing tight end, because I mean, his whole entire life, both those brothers, the other one we will not name right now, they both were quarterbacks, and that's what they've been doing. And now all of a sudden you're being told, okay, now you're the guy catching the ball, you're the guy blocking. And that takes a full commitment to understand. I remember back in my day, people are always like, well, you could play tight end, you could play defensive end, and I was like, well, I want to play quarterback. It's like, and in my mind, I never really focused. Now I'm thinking back on it, I probably should have tried to be an offensive tackle. Probably missed out on a bunch of money, but oh well.
It's tough. I mean, it's just an interesting move, and we'll see, how the transition goes. But yeah, I mean, being from quarterback, like you don't practice a whole lot of blocking, and you're going to be in the Power Four, and say you're in like a pro left set, and you got a 4 or 5 star outside linebacker, defend him. Like that footwork takes time to really master, and figuring out that leverage, and especially for a guy like him, unless he's going to keep growing, of course, but it's going to take a while. Like that leverage and footwork is going to be really important.
And also too,
guys at Oregon,
he was more mobile than the other guy was, the other brother. He's more mobile. I'll give him that, but it wasn't like mobile to this point to where you're like, oh, this guy runs like a 4.40 or a 4.540. So it'll be interesting to see, how his speed transitions, if he gets faster when he gets to Oregon, because I know he made plays on his feet this past year, but going up a whole different level and playing tight end, you're going to have to outrun, linebackers. And we all know the linebackers in today's world are all, running 4.5, 4.6, 4.4. So he's definitely going to have to put on some extra speed and get used to that contact, because there's going to be a heck of a lot more contact now than he's probably ever dealt with playing quarterback.
Yeah, we have the Go Big Red captain saying Dayton played offensive line and defensive line until 9th grade. He decided he wanted to play quarterback. Still, like that's a significant time gap, and it surprises me. Or he says Dylan. I don't know if Dylan Rail ever played that. I thought he was talking about Dayton there, but nonetheless.
Well, I know Dylan. His 9th grade year, he was playing quarterback, because I remember seeing him throw. I think beginning of his sophomore year, and I was like, yeah, this probably one of the best. Oh gosh, I'm talking about Dylan. I'm sorry. Was one of the best throwing quarterbacks that I had seen at that age group. So yeah, it'll be a transition. Trust me. I mean, playing at Buford, Georgia, playing quarterback there, and then making that transition to tight end. It's a big transition. I mean, ask Heiner Carberg. He would say, I'm sure he would say, yeah, it was a heck of a transition for me also. So, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I would be stunned if you see Dayton there for the entire 4 years.
We do get this one from Don. It's a good example. He says, look at what Zach Miller did. He transitioned from being a college quarterback to becoming an NFL tight end. There are cases where it works out.
And that was one where Zach Miller fully committed to. Like, there was no light saying that, hey, I'm going to go to the NFL to play quarterback. He went to the NFL to play tight end, and he had a very successful career. But then you look back at like Eric Crouch. Like, a lot of people still say, if Eric Crouch would have committed fully to playing receiver, probably would have had a good long NFL career. But he still had that dream in his head that he was going to play quarterback, and he was a little stubborn in that sense. But that's what he wanted to do. But yeah, you see players that make that transition. It's just you've got to make that full commitment, and you've also got to have the skill set to do that. And like we're saying, with Dayton, it's like, will he have the skill set to make that transition? It's yet to be seen. But apparently, Dan Lanning sees something in him playing tight end, because I don't think that you're just going to throw a scholarship at Dayton and go, okay, we're just going to throw you a scholarship to play tight end just because your brother is a second string quarterback here. So there's something behind it, and they must see something in him. So watch him become like all Big Ten, all American tight end.
Well, I mean, listen, I'll say he is an athlete. Like, that's why I was surprised he didn't stick with quarterback, because he really did. I thought looked pretty good there, especially this last season. So
if he becomes an all Big Ten, all American tight end, do we blame Nebraska for losing him?
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's how that offer is.
Who's the tight ends coach? Come on now. No. We all know who the tight ends coach is.
No. It's just incredible. We got a little bit of time here left. I know this wasn't on the notes, Raff, but I want to ask you about Super Bowl halftime shows.
Oh, good Lord.
This year's Bad Bunny, which a lot of people have problems with. I'm at a point, Raff, I don't care. Every Super Bowl halftime show, it's the same thing. Everyone's like, man, that thing sucked. Weekend, boo. Eminem, sucked. Who was the other one? Katy Perry, bad.
The Dr. Dre one was good.
Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers, boo. Like, it just feels like every year nobody likes it. And I'm telling everyone right now, it is not for you. It is for the people who don't watch football. That's why you bring in a guy like Bad Bunny, because they're not going to cater towards the traditional football fan. It's going to bring in the other people. That's the whole idea of it. I don't know what people expect out of it. I have stopped caring so much about whether it's going to be good or bad. I'm going to sit through it. And if it sucks, I'll just be on my phone. If it's good, I'll watch it.
I think they just need to go back to the Super Bowl one halftime, where they had the guys with the jetpacks, and they said this is what the future is going to look like, and they were flying around with their jetpacks. I think they go to a jetpack halftime, maybe some drone races, maybe some AI figures, or it's so tough anymore with like, and who was talking today? I forgot which show I was listening to. Oh man. Oh, it was Nick and Austin. Sorry, Nick. Sorry, Swim. Sorry, Austin. And they were talking about there's really no like band or group that is so like compelling like anymore. I mean, I know listeners will be like, well, so and so, but there's no like the Rolling Stones or there's no like these band like Tom Petty. There's nobody really out there like that anymore to where it grabs everybody. They're gonna upset somebody. Mr. Bunny will probably, it's probably upset some people. Then next year, they might go with say a country music star or something, then that'll upset some people. So I just don't think you're ever going to find any common ground, maybe unless you go back to the jetpack races. I think that would be huge.
Yeah, that's a good point. There really isn't, maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't feel like we've had a dominant music figure in a while.
I think the last one for me probably was Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. That halftime, and I think it was at SoFi. I think that halftime, that was probably the one that
was Eminem.
Was it? Was what? Yeah, Eminem, 50 Cent. I think it was 50 Cent.
That was like not my cup of tea, but it was cool. I mean, all the
I think
faces in there.
Like the older quote unquote older people, was just to hear that music. For me, that one stands out. I'm trying to think Prince, Michael Jackson.
I'm thinking of figures today though that could pull off anything close to.
Yeah. I'm not sure who would move the needle for. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really not. Like I could not tell you. Like this is gonna sound. I could not tell you a song that Bad Bunny sings. I guess when I hear it, maybe I would know it, but I couldn't tell you a song that he sings. So,
well, not my cup of tea. I'll say that much. It's not like I can say it's bad music because music's an acquired taste for everyone, but
maybe Kenny Chesney, halftime.
That's too much for like the regular audience though. Like I think the non-football NFL fans wouldn't watch that.
Yeah,
maybe they would. But I think the whole goal is like that's why they do a lot of this, is so they can get those other fans in there because, Raff, what we have proven is that the NFL can just do whatever the hell they want, and we're going to watch.
Well, did you not think? I take this back. The one that we all thought was going to end up being the Super Bowl halftime was Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That would have moved the needle. I think for about everybody. I mean,
yeah. There's a lot of people that don't like Taylor Swift, but the numbers would be huge. I guarantee you that if Taylor Swift did the halftime. I'm surprised they didn't go that route because there's a lot of money on the table, and the NFL usually goes in if there's a significant chance to make a good income there.
Yeah, I think that would be the one needle turner. Sorry for not mentioning her sooner, but she would have been the needle turner not only for the football fans, but for the fans from outside, because the football fans are sort of linked to her now with Travis Kelce, which I don't know what the post by Patrick Mahomes tonight with let's go Travis Kelce, dartboard, or bullseye. So I don't know if that means there's an announcement in the future for Mr. Kelce and Mr. Mahomes coming back for another year. But I think that grab of the football attention and then that grab of the outside, I think Taylor Swift should be the one needle mover person that could go with both crowds, I think.
Well, we do have a texter who's actually at the last 3 Super Bowls.
Holy cow.
Which is impressive. This one from 2366. He says, I've done the last 3 Super Bowls halftime performances ranked. He says the best one was Usher, then Rihanna, then Kendrick.
Okay.
I forgot Kendrick was in that one as well. Yeah.
Usher, is he or she are they going to the Super Bowl this year too?
I'd imagine so. Sounds like he's doing well for himself if he can manage to do that, which hell yeah. If I could pull that off, I would too. But
when the Broncos go to the Super Bowl next year, can I go with you?
We got on-air talent asking our listeners, like, can you please bring me to the football game?
Do you see the prices for tickets?
Oh, I'm sure they're outrageous. Let me pull them up right now.
It's crazy. It's like, was it $3,500 for a 400 seat, I believe, or something like that. 8,000 for like in the end zone behind the goalpost. It's
4,000 $500 to $6,000 for the cheapest seats is kind of the range.
Wow. Yeah, no, I think I'll just watch it on television. I've always been partial to that, so I'm good with the television. I kind of thinking back on it now, you'd think I probably should have tried to go to a Super Bowl like 25 years ago. Maybe that Broncos Packers game. I guess I should have maybe tried a little bit harder to go to that. But I went to games that season. Then always last year I went to like four or five games his last year. So I kind of got that bug out of my system. So, but you never know. Maybe someday I'll go to a Super Bowl. But I mean, I just like watching it on television. It became such a spectacle. You don't have like the true Broncos fans or the true Patriots. But it'll be interesting to see what the 12s do with Seattle, because they travel so much and are so passionate fan base. Will they be able to infiltrate the corporate tickets, and how many 12s will be there? Because remember when they played the Broncos in the Super Bowl at the Meadowlands, the Broncos did not realize that so many of their fans were going to be at the game, and they did not practice the silent count. And they should have had a silent count because there were so many 12s there. So it'll be interesting to see what those 12s do that infiltrate the crowd for the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so expensive now. Like it's just kind of like the ticket pricing things are getting outrageous. Like my generation kind of got screwed out on going to a lot of stuff, because even if you want to go to concerts today, it's like you gotta, $200, $300 to go to a concert. And it's like, well, yeah, I can piece that together, but geez, how many concerts am I going to put this much money? And then the same thing for sporting venues. And now you have this, like, they will show up. I don't think it's going to be enough to make a significant impact. I could be wrong on that, but this thing just keeps scaling up like crazy every single year, that it gets tougher and tougher to get these tickets without putting down a serious amount of money.
I remember back in, was it 2000? So John Elway retired, and then the first Monday Night Football game against the Dolphins the next year, they retired his jersey and put his name up in the stadium. And I think I paid $250 for a ticket to that game, and I was just like, holy cow, I will never spend that much money on a ticket ever again. Now you say $250, and people are like, that's a kind of a drop in the bucket for some of these main major events. I mean, I don't even think you enter the building. If Nebraska, with the basketball team, if they end up going to like Oklahoma City or St. Louis or playing somewhere around there, I don't think $250 even gets you in the arena.
No, and that's the part that's really sad sometimes, because I'm not getting, it's just business, right? But you saw that a little bit with the Warriors. Remember when they used to really be the Oakland Warriors, and that was, it was not in a great spot. But as a result, the ticket prices were actually really fair and really easy to get tickets to go to a Warriors game. And like, you saw that crowd in that arena, and they loved the Golden State Warriors. They were just about it. That was their team. And then when they moved, the crowd got a little bit tamer. It wasn't as loud, different audience. They're showing up late in the first quarter. And traffic, I get that part. Traffic is a nightmare. But, you kind of lost that magic because you outpriced the real fans. And every time I watch the Super Bowl, that's my biggest pet peeve, is when I see a dude not wearing any team gear. He's just in a really nice, fancy dress up, like shirt and tie, not shirt and tie, but whatever they're wearing. And he's just on his phone, just taking pictures. I'm like, man, is this just like to say you went, or do you really care about the game at all? Like, that's what's unfortunate. Whereas the real fans do get outpriced a lot. And that's become the epitome of the Super Bowl.
I'm so glad that I broke all my streaks of going to Nebraska football games, back in 2003 when they fired Solich. So like all my streaks of going to home games, going to away games, all that stuff, I let go of after they fired him, because I couldn't even imagine, if you're a fan now, and I would assume there's still some Nebraska football fans out there that go to every single game, home, away, and bowl games. I'd be interested to know what percentage are still out there and who's got the longest streak. Is there anybody out there that that has seen games in the? I guess you Yeah, 72. Is there anybody there that's, been to every single Nebraska game since like 72, 73? I'd be curious to see who's got the longest streak out there these days. Because I remember I had a pretty decent streak going. I'd been to like every Nebraska home game from like 85 to like 2003, something like that. I mean, it was
smokes.
It was a pretty good run. So
I don't know what that cost you today. That'd be the follow-up question is like, what was it year one when you started doing it? And what is it, in 2026? If you want to go to all the home and then the road game, like the pricing is unreal. We did get this one from IQ Crew off the text line. Going back to the halftime show. He says, the only thing I know Bad Bunny for is more breadsticks from Happy Gilmore too.
Oh yeah. Yep. He was the caddy on Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah. He was pretty good there. So maybe it's not so bad.
Maybe Adam Sandler shows up at halftime.
Who knows? I mean, the halftime, there's usually like one hidden thing in there that they don't tell you about. Because I think the one year was like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but somebody else hopped on stage. I don't know if it was.
Yeah, I'm not.
I can't remember entirely, but there's my take. I mean, just with the Super Bowl halftime shows, when you get on X and you're ready to complain about the Super Bowl halftime show, just don't. Nobody cares.
I'm going to. It's always fun.
It's insane. People are like, oh my Lord, worst Super Bowl halftime show ever. You can probably look at that guy's feed and he probably said the thing the year before. The Super Bowl halftime is such a hard thing to pull off. Raff, give me one, like a halftime show where everyone you knew was like, that was awesome.
I'm going to go to Michael Jackson at the Rose Bowl, Cowboys versus Bills.
Okay, so that sets the timeline. That's all I'm trying to say.
Like 1993, I believe it was 92 or 93. And I think it was the first time where it became such a spectacle because they had like the 3D Michael Jackson's popping out of each corner of the stadium, and you really thought it was him. Then all of a sudden he comes out of the stage, and I mean it was a master class in showmanship. I will give him that, and I think that was kind of the beginning of the Super Bowl spectacle shows. I'm trying to think which other shows.
Prince, Go Big Red Captain says Prince, and then he also said Michael Jackson. So
Prince was cool because remember. Oh, you probably do remember because it was the Bears Super Bowl, Bears and Saints, or was it Bears and Saints? Or no, Bears and Saints, right?
No, 06 Colts.
Bears and Colts, yeah. And it was raining at halftime, so
yeah, it was awesome.
Singing Purple Rain in the rain, and then and they said even with the rain coming down full steam, he continued to play on and gave the concert of a lifetime. So yeah, definitely Prince. Gosh, who else? Did Katy Perry? Katy Perry was like
break, so we can just end there. But Katy Perry, yeah, a lot of people didn't like that one.
Something or a dragon or something.
It's tough to pull off the perfect halftime show. You need a generational talent like Prince or Michael Jackson or someone's got to be, and that's why Taylor Swift actually might have been that one this year. But I'm not complaining that they don't have that. So don't go anywhere. Raff, what do we have for the next segment?
We're doing top 10 Super Bowl games. So tonight we'll try to get through the first 4 or 5 of them. And then tomorrow night we'll do 5 through 1. So another countdown. We love our countdowns.
Absolutely. All that next right here. Raff's Good Take on Sports, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on making the most craveable chicken finger meals, getting them right every time. That's why we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, salt every fry, squeeze every lemon, and brew every ounce. We do this inside every Raising Cane's, every day. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. February's cream cheese flavor is white chocolate raspberry. Pair it with a strawberry cold foam. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
The Black Crows are coming to Pinewood Bowl on Tuesday, August 4th, and we want to give you the chance to win free tickets. Tune in all week long for chances to win a pair of tickets each day on The Drive with me, Nick Sainert, and Aaron Davis this week only.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket, with all the good takes you need. Here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in. Raff's Good Take on Sports, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Thought you left me for a second there, Chris.
No, I was just stunned by how long the first segment went. You got me talking so much that the time flew by. I looked at the time when we went to break and I was like, holy cow. I was like, I got on a roll. So
yeah, that's my fault. So we got to try to rapid fire these.
we don't have to get through. We can get through as many as we can, and then we can do the rest tomorrow night because we could be a big Super Bowl show tomorrow night. So there's no rush. We can give each game it's talk about, and then whenever we send it a break for the RGT, we'll send it a break for the RGT, and Everything's good in the world.
So we doing moments or games?
We're doing games. Games. So I think you guys covered like the best games from like the last decade, or I forgot.
We did just the decade. Yep.
Just the decade. Okay. So I went the entire 59 Super Bowls, because the 60th Super Bowl will be on Sunday. So my number 10 game, Super Bowl 13. And that game was the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Dallas Cowboys. The Pittsburgh Steelers won 35-31. The reason why this was my number 10 game was this was kind of the height of the Dallas Cowboys and the height of the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s. The Steelers got the best of the Cowboys in the other Super Bowl that they had played them in. But you had Roger Staubach, Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw had 4 touchdown passes, over 300 yards passing. But then you also had Roger Staubach, who kept on bringing the Cowboys back all day, actually hit Jackie Smith in the end zone right in the stomach, and he dropped a pass. But that would have been an easy touchdown for the Cowboys. But I put this game number 10 just for what you had there. You had the America's team, quote unquote, Dallas Cowboys versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were dynasty. That was their third Super Bowl in the 70s. They'd win one more in 79 with against the Rams. So I went with that game as my number 10 best Super Bowl ever.
Great pick. I'm not going to disagree with that. It's going to be, there's so many Super Bowls. It's going to be, the real argument is going to be when we get to the top, which one should be the best Super Bowl. I wonder how recent the first one is.
That's where you got to tune in tomorrow night to find out. We're doing the Dallas cliffhanger. Who shot JR? Who's the number 1 best Super Bowl? But we'll get there. And then at number 9, we have the Super Bowl 52, the Eagles versus the Patriots, 41-33. Everybody remembers this game for Mr. Nick Foles stepping in for Carson Wentz, winning the Super Bowl with the famous play, the Philly special. This game had everything. You had Tom Brady, had a big game throwing the ball. This was now the Eagles, 4 offensive coordinators ago or 5 offensive coordinators ago. I mean, just crazy the transition that team's had. You had Jason Kelce getting his Super Bowl victory. And so I went with that as my number 9, just because it had a bit of everything, the back and forth to it. The luster of Tom Brady, and then you had Nick Foles, the backup quarterback that brought this title, back to, or brought finally to Philadelphia after battling for so many years and losing in, what was it, the 1980 Super Bowl and and then the one that they lost to the Patriots when Terrell Owens played with his broken legs. So that was my number 9. What time are we at? How much time do we got left?
We can probably squeak in there one more.
Okay.
But while we're doing this, we can do, I'll give you the worst ones from the NFL's website. As you give me the best, I'll match it with the worst. They have the worst one being Super Bowl 29, 49ers versus the Chargers. 49ers win it 49-26. Steve Young had 6 touchdown passes.
I'm good with that, because I was fully prepared for you to say the worst one being Broncos versus 49ers 55-10. So I'm good with that.
Raff.
What's that?
Guess which one's 58?
Oh no, it was the worst one.
That's the second worst one. That's what the NFL has. I thought that one would be the worst one. No, it's the second worst.
I sat through 55-10. 42-10, 43-8.
That's tough.
Man, Broncos, and the 1978 Super Bowl against the Cowboys, they got me 27-10. But if you go back and watch that game, there were some awful calls by the referees. So that game actually should have been closer, even though the Broncos offense didn't play well that day. Their defense played really, really well that game. So, but oh well. Okay, we'll do one more for tonight, and then we'll go 7 through 1 tomorrow. So my number 8 game, Super Bowl 34, the St. Louis Rams versus the Tennessee Titans, 23-16. And everybody remembers this game for the last play of the game. Well, actually, the last drive of the game. Steve McNair drove the team down, completed a pass, and they tackled him. They tackled him at the 1 yard line, and the game ended at the 1 yard line. And the Rams pulled off the victory. And that was the Cinderella season of Kurt Warner, who took over the reins from Trent Green after he blew out his knee in the preseason. And Kurt Warner got his one Super Bowl in that game, 23-16. But I remember after that game thinking to myself, good Lord, Steve McNair and the Titans, they are postmarked to win multiple Super Bowls, because you just thought he was the quarterback on the rise, and things, it's just quick how quick NFL football goes. Like, you think someone's going to be that team. You kind of thought maybe the Eagles might be that this year, and then they kind of fade out. And that was kind of with the Titans. That was their one time, and was tackled on the 1 yard line. And that's how that season culminated. And the St. Louis Rams got their title. That defensive end from Nebraska, Mr. Grant Wistrom, got his Super Bowl ring, ended up being a judge, I believe, for the Miss USA competition later that summer. So to the victor, got
That's a good year for Wistrom.
Yeah, it was a really good year. He was all over the place, but I always remember that he was like, he's a judge for Miss USA competition. I was like, man, look at Grant. So
I wonder how you get that gig.
Win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because that's not one where you want to ask to be the judge. You look like a creepy guy if you do it that way. You need to be asked to go be the judge for that one.
Exactly.
Wrap it up here, at least on this segment. The third worst Super Bowl that they have. Really, really recent. Can you guess what it was?
Third worst Super Bowl. Oh, last year.
Last year, yeah. The 40-22, it was all pretty much garbage time for the
that game. Yeah, I was going to say that game ended up being a lot closer than what it should have been. I mean,
that game was bad.
Over.
That was the worst Super Bowl I remember, at least in my lifetime. Like, that was, at no point was it entertaining. After the first couple of drives, it was like, okay, we'll see what happens. And it was just 3 and outs from the Chiefs and then turnovers.
It was just
dominated.
It was so weird because that game, I remember thinking to myself, okay, Mahomes will get it, locked in. It's what he does. He'll get everything. And they just never got it set, and they struggled all day. And it was sort of like that Rocky Balboa versus Ivan Drago moment where it's like, he's just a man. He's cut. And I think that was where maybe the rest of the NFL was like, okay, maybe Patrick Mahomes isn't a machine after all. He is human. So, but then watch next year. He'll come back with a bionic knee and win a Super Bowl next year, or something crazy like that.
Yeah, we've seen that twice. Mahomes has had the privilege of going up against some really, really good defenses. He saw that with the Tom Brady-Mahomes matchup, and of course last year. Eagles were just all over them defensively again. With that being said, we do got to throw it to break. We'll get to the rest of that list of the best Super Bowls of all time, Raff's personal list. But before we do that, we got to get to Raff's good take on sports, and we'll pick up back on the Super Bowls tomorrow night. So don't go anywhere. One more segment for this episode. We'll be back in a little bit right here. Raff's good take on sports.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
The best barbecue deal in town is at Hog Wild. We're serving up a $5.99 meal deal that includes a one-meat sandwich, your favorite classic side, and a drink, all for just $5.99. Craving brisket? Upgrade to our tender, slow-smoked beef brisket for only $1.50 more. Join us for lunch or dinner, or order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at HamiltonIsBusiness.com.
Lincoln.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion, for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Dinner and a movie? You've done that. Arbor Axe House has a date night deal that really hits. This Valentine's Day, enjoy a special rate that includes an hour of axe throwing for 2, plus drinks and koozies. Reserve your lane today at arboraxe.com. Arbor Axe House, on the corner of N Street and Antelope Valley.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back. Final take. Yeah, we can use that word because it's Raff's Good Take on Sports. I forgot the word segment, so we'll just call it the final take on Raff's Good Take on Sports 93.7 The Ticket. And what's a good take on life, Chris Raff?
All right, everybody. Today's Raff's Good Take goes out to, well, it is a tribute to all the girls and women in sports. It is National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and just a tribute to all the females out there. Looking at Nebraska, for instance, you have the Amy Williamses of the world, Rhonda Revels, Aaron Butsky, the cheerleading coach at Nebraska. You have all these great females that are making such a great impact on so many sports through the years. It just gets stronger and better with each passing year. So I just wanted to give out the Raff's Good Take to all of them. That just an incredible job at just all the cool things that women and the girls are doing in the sports world. Shout out to my niece Kala. She's a dancer, so that's a sport in my mind. If you've seen the dancers, the cheerleaders, the practices that they go through, it's incredible. So big shout out to all the females. You guys are all Raff's Good Take.
Not to toot our own horn here at 93.7 the ticket, Raff, but how many women sports shows do you think we have, or women host shows do we have?
I'm going to go with 13.
18.
Oh,
that's a lot. Like, I kind of, DP was talking about us today, and we'll put something out there together to kind of honor all that. And me and Drew Haverman talked about it. I think the coolest thing about it is, like, it was never a plan. Like, we're going to make sure that we are number one when it comes to women's voices. Like, all we did was open up the door and allow people who want to do this, do it. And we just had a lot of women that really wanted to do it, have the opportunity. And some of them have really good shows now. Like Ashley Mitchell getting in Garth, the SEC associate commissioner. Like, that's a big deal. You got,
what was the connection there? Did she say, did her family know him, or how did that?
So he does come to speak at UNL, I think, like once every year. I don't know if I never got the full story, but kind of I think how they made it work and why he was like, yeah, I'm down to do it. Like, so he also did sports, a radio show.
Yep.
And then he also was a lawyer.
Yep.
And he basically, they had a lot of similar paths where they're kind of both doing a lot of the same things. Nice. So there was that connection there through the law school and then the sports radio. And then I also think he goes there once a year to teach at UNL. So I'm sure that's where it happened. But again, that's just Ashley Mitchell just trying it herself. Like, no one at the ticket set that up for her. That was her. Super cool. She went out and did that. And that's a huge guest to pull. And then Emma Spence, she gets Nuri back to Lincoln. We got Nuri in the studio, who was like one of the first guys that started a lot of the student athlete shows. And then you just got plenty of others. I'm not going to name them all because I'm definitely going to miss some, but yeah, it's really cool. The amount of, again, it's not like a focus of ours, but it just happens if you're willing to open up the door. And we've got some really great hosts. Arden Lockheim being an obvious one. Like, she's going to be broadcasting big games someday.
Well, it's so, it's so organic too, that the opportunities are there because, looking back just 5-6 years ago, I mean, there wasn't even an opportunity, even to say for like the Chris Raffs or the ADs out there, there wasn't even an opportunity for us, to get our foot in that door of being on the radio. And just what 93.7 the ticket has given, not just to the females out there, but just giving opportunities to people to get on the radio. I think that's super cool. And it's just awesome. Like, I love the gymnastics coverage. That's huge, that Emma Spence is going and getting, and I know Heather, the head coach, I forgot Heather in the Raff's Good Take. Sorry, Heather. Or H is what I affectionately refer to her as, but I know she appreciates everything that, all the attention and anything that's given, to that program, by 93.7 the ticket. So awesome job. The ticket doing big things. Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. We'll probably just keep growing because that's how it's been since I got here. And Raff, you could probably attest to that. Appreciate everybody listening. That's going to wrap it up for us. Don't go anywhere. More content up next.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own expert